And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to build a scale on guitar using half and whole steps. Let's get into this here. This is going to be so cool, and it's so important to know here, you know, this half whole step, because it's how you build scales, and it's how you associate all chords together and everything. So let me give you a little close-up here of what we have of the guitar neck. Starting on the little E string here, if you go up chromatically, and what that means is, chromatically, is that it's a series of half steps right here. So you have the open E string right here. Just make sure you're in tune with me. Here's an E, or low E, E. If you just go up one fret, or one half step, you have this next note right here, which is an F, E to an F. Also referred to as a semitone. Now you could also go down, if you hear on the F, go down. Either way, the musical alphabet is just A through G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it circles all over and around and around and around. It rotates around A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, on and on and on. Really, those are just all the natural notes, and every note has a sharp as well, except for B and E. So if you look at this graph right here, you'll see that every note starting on the musical alphabet A has a sharp as you go up. And there's only 12 notes in the musical vocabulary. So as you can see, every note has a sharp in it. And look at it as like the white keys on the piano as well. Those are all natural notes. You're going to have a black key in between every letter except for B and C, and then E and F. As you can see on that graph, every note has a sharp except for B to C and E to F. And we'll get to that in a second. I'll explain that to you as well. Okay, starting on the A string. I mean, we could play this whole thing starting on the A string. That's what's cool about it too. The A, if you go up one half step here, or a fret, or a semitone, however you want to say it, half step, since this video is about half steps and whole steps. And we're going to build a scale, but first, I feel like knowing this is like really, really important so that we can understand how to build the scales and how to build any scale based on this system. So if you're enjoying this video so far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, all that groovy stuff. So we have an open A here, and according to this chart right here, what we're going to do is, if we go up one half step, look, we're on A sharp right there. If we go up again another half step, we have a B. If we go up another half step, we have a C. So look, there's no B sharp there. It just goes right to a C. Then another half step, you have a C sharp. Another half step, you have a D. Another half step, you have a D sharp. Another half step, you have an E. And look, once again, another half step, you have F. So E to F, again, it's just a half step. F to F sharp is a half step up. You have a G, up a half step. You have a G sharp, and then up a half step. You have an A again. So that's all the 12 notes right there. A to A, chromatically. Octave. Arpeggio. So everything is within those 12 notes right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then back to the 1 again. So we went through that. Up the chromatic scale. Those are half steps. So if a half step is just one semitone, so what's a whole step? Well, then a whole step would be 2 semitones. Maybe you don't know that. Well, if you didn't know it, now you know. So a whole step would be, if you look at that graph right there, a whole step, A to B would be a whole step. Another whole step, that's right, would be B to C sharp. Another whole step would be C sharp to D sharp. So it just goes on and on. Like that would be a whole tone scale, actually, to jump ahead. These are all whole steps. Which is a cool scale within itself. That's a whole nother thing. Just a whole step right there. So again, a whole step is just 2 half steps. So if you get from the A, here's 1, whole step. Skip 1, whole step. Skip 1, whole step. Skip 1, whole step. Skip a note, whole step. Skip a note, whole step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, there's 6 whole steps there. And even going down, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whereas there's 12 notes. I mean, you could do division, right? So it's 12 notes here, going up half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 steps there. And if we double it up, it's 6 going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So half steps and whole steps. That's what this is all based on. And it really doesn't matter where you're starting from. You know, it's all the same. Essentially, the major scale is a solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Just like it sounds. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. It's a solfege. That's the sound of the major scale. And that's what we're building here. So if you look at the C, a major scale is a series of whole steps and half steps. You're going to have a whole, half, whole, half. So you got C. The first whole would be, look, C to C sharp is a half step. D is a whole step. Okay, so that's the first interval from the C to the D. It's 2 half steps. Okay? So now from D to E is 2 half steps. Just like you can see that on the chart here. D, D sharp, E. 2 half steps. So from C to D is 2 half steps or a whole step. From D to E is 2 half steps or a whole step. Now from E to F is a half step because we've determined already that the major scale is a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So C to D, whole step, D to E, whole step, E to F, half step, F to G is a whole step because you have F, F sharp, G. G to A, whole step because you have G, G sharp, A to B, whole step because you have A sharp, B, and then finally B to C, half step. And that's why we're in the key of C, because it's really simple. No flats or sharps in the scale degrees. We know how to construct the major scale, and the major scale is so important because, like I was saying, you build all of your chords off of the major scale, like C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and C again. Or down here, A minor, B diminished, and C again. And that all comes from the major scale, like this, starting C, or you can also count numbers, like the Nashville number system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because each one of these notes is going to be a number as well. C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, C is 8 or 1 again. So that's how you'd build the scale going horizontally. Any questions, please let me know. And I do have a question for you I should have asked earlier. And that question is, how do you know how to build a scale? Like, what has been your thought process of it? You know, I know it's a series of whole steps and half steps here. But, you know, a lot of people don't know that. You might have your own philosophy or theory on how you build your scales. Maybe not necessarily the major scale. Maybe other scales as well. And by knowing this formula, you could build any scale. You're not just stuck, you're not limited to just the major scale. by knowing the formulas, and that's all they really are, is formulas. And when you start to see this, you'll start to see that the modes and everything is based upon this as well. You know, when you get into other things like say a Dorian mode, okay, that would be starting on the 2nd degree, D. It's the same thing going up the C major scale, but look how the formula is the same, yet it's different because you're starting on the 2nd degree. So starting on this D note would give you a whole step, half step. Okay, and that's how a minor chord is built right there. Because now you're only going up a minor third by stacking third, which is my last video that I did 2 weeks ago. I did a video on stacking thirds. And that's how you build chords. So if you could see, the C, whole step, makes a major third. C to E makes the major third. Major chord. This D, continuing up the C major scale, look where it goes. It goes whole step, half step. So now D to F, that's a minor third. So now it's a minor chord. Right? So this whole formula from D to D would give you a Dorian scale. You know, of course, you're still in, it depends on what chord is underneath it. See, if I droned a D, like here, this open D string, and I played the D from D to D, going up the C major scale, it would sound like a D, it would be a D Dorian mode. Check it out. Does that still sound like the C major scale to you? Probably not. I mean, it's the same notes, but it's got a minor sound. Hear that? Same notes. Now check this out. If I play the C major scale, happy. And as you can see, the same formula, if I was on E, and I started on E, and I went up the E, C major scale, it would be E, F. Look, that degree, starts with a half step. So now the formula from E to F, F to G, G to A to B, B to C, C to D. So that would be like a Phrygian mode. If I was to drone this low E and play those notes, see, just by droning and emphasizing certain notes, you get a totally different sound. This is still the C major scale. And what's beautiful about that is you see the formulas of everything and how it changes depending on what note you're starting with. If you're in F, same thing. Whole, half, whole, half. Anywhere. Key of F, whatever. Doesn't matter. They're all the same when you know this formula right here. If you started with the A and you went up the C major scale, you'd have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. That's the A minor scale. Locrian is great too. Do the same thing right here with Locrian. But if you start on the B, on the 7th degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, B, or here, B right down there. Starting here, from B to B, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. You have a B Locrian. So check it out. Actually, I'll create a chord right here. Check this out. B diminished chord. It's terrible, but it's check it out. So the same notes, I'll play the C major scale, and you'll get a B Locrian sound. Same notes as major scale. Isn't that crazy? Same exact notes. And if I did something like, if I played an A minor chord, like this. And I played the C major scale, same notes. people seem to get a little confused as far as how to build the scale. They know what scales are, but they don't dig deep to find the actual formula and to study and to dig into the formula. Because just by knowing the 1 C major scale, a lot of the other scales that you may know and love are built around modes of that scale. And really all the modes is just formulas based on different starting points. And of course, you got to take this and take it off the horizontal string and just work it up, going vertically. Same type of thing. So instead of going up horizontally, you go vertically. Same notes, right? But you're going up. So you can go this way and utilize all the strings. Whole step. Whole step. So it's beautiful to see vertically what a whole step looks like. So vertically from your A string, D note right here on the 5th fret to the D string, E note, the next note, it's always going to be a 3 frets down. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 string up. That's going to give you an interval of a whole step. Or a second degree, a second interval. So from here to here is the same thing as from here to here. So now you know you got whole step, half step. So you can do the half step there on the D string, half step, then you have whole, again, right there. Then you have whole, so it's the same thing going down from the D string to the next string, the G. You got 3 frets down, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 string up. That'll give you, that's the interval of a whole step. Then you got whole step on the G string, and then C. So you have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. I do have a guitar course. Let's talk about it here. It's called Essential Skills Collection for Guitar, and I go over 4 topics in it. Fretboard memorization. That's where I show a really easy way to learn all the notes all over the fretboard. Very simple way. The circle of fifths is learning the different keys. It's basically what we did today. We learned how to build and create a major scale in every key, or at least in one. Well, that's what the circle of fifths is. You're just taking the same formulas and just moving them in fifths, circle of 5th degrees. Then I go into blues soloing, which I have lots of backing tracks and graphs on, and I really like to focus on bending in tune, vibrato. And then I go to a final thing where it's where I go over the cage system based on 2-5-1s. So we use like chord progressions, and we utilize the cage system, which is really, really essential, I believe, in learning chords all over the fretboard. So check that out. I'll put a link in the description for my guitar course, Essential Skills. I appreciate that. Remember, be cool, be kind, be cherry, and if you want to see another video on how to learn to identify the 7 diatonic chords like we built today in every major key, check that out right there. Until then, I'll see you next week in the next video. Cheers, everyone. Love yous. Happy Mother's Day. And enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao.